So how can you begin a brand new year? I want to suggest to you the very best way to begin a brand new year is where we left off last week at Christmas time. In the beginning, when Jesus came to become a man. Behind me is this beautiful statue in Federal Way, Washington, at the national headquarters of World Vision USA. I love the fact that it's so inclusive. There are children of all ages, they're children of all ethnicities, meaning that Christ wants to offer life to all of them. If you look very carefully, you can see in his extended hand is the bread of life. So Jesus is the bread of life. Jesus is the light of the world that we celebrate at Christmas. Jesus is the way and the truth and the life. So as Jesus grew to manhood, incidentally, don't you love the smile of Jesus and the way he's hanging on to one child while also reaching out to others? That's the very same thing that we need to do as well. To understand that the good news that we have is we cling to Jesus and we love Jesus. We also take the time and take the initiative to reach out to others and extend the hand of invitation of Jesus Christ to a lost and dying world. So how do you begin a new year as a child? In Matthew chapter 18, one day his disciples came to him and said, "Hey Jesus, who's the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" I'm willing to bet that Jesus was thinking of them what I'm thinking of them right now. I bet they were thinking, hey, maybe he'll say something about me and how important I am. Or maybe he'll say something about how I do things great. Or maybe instead Jesus does something very different. He says, I truly tell you the truth. Very truly, I tell you the truth. Unless you change and become like a little child, you cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven. He said, unless you change, meaning you're turning and you're placing your trust in him. As we enter into a new year, you must approach him according to Jesus, not just this year, but every day of our lives as a child. Here's what's instructive for you and for me as we enter this new year. You've got to become like a child as we enter into baby new year in just a few days. So it's interesting that we take the initiative to make comparisons culturally in ways that are practical as well. Jesus came as a baby. We treat the new year as a baby. Jesus said, and anyone who takes this lowly position and comes to me like a child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. So to Jesus, when we come to him with trust and with wanting to understand more and following his instructions and looking to Jesus with the attitude of our heart, like this child is in the statue of Jesus being the bread of life for all the world. Then we begin to understand how to approach the new year with the attitude of a child, trusting him, understanding that you don't understand what's going to happen in this new year. Man, we hope it's going to be a great one. In some ways, 2020 was a great year. We learned how to do things in an entirely different way, and we survived, and sometimes we even thrived. But as we moved into 2021, what we want to do now is to understand what's God's mission for us. So when we do that with the heart of a child, it means that we're looking to the face of the Father as this child looks to the face of Jesus. And we're saying, hey God, what do you want me to do this year? I've got my Bible on my phone. So for me, it means to go and look and understand sentences like this. And then he goes on to say, and whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. So not only do we become a child, then we also welcome others into his kingdom to become children of God like him as well. How are we going to do that? Well, we don't know exactly every way. But what's happened in our partnership and relationship with World Vision is that World Vision is an international and national partner for us. During the pandemic, we've been able to feed thousands of people free food in a partnership with them. This year, we're entering into some new initiatives with them, and we'll tell you more about that in the days and coming weeks, which can supply the needs to those people in our community in very practical ways, much like feeding them. But not only that, we can also say, instead of going into this new year with our chest stuck out in pride saying, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, maybe what we learned from 2020 is, let's get prepared for what God has for us and how he invites us into what he is doing. Instead of saying, here's my list, here's my goals, I want you to sign your name on them and say the stamp of approval is on all your goals. They may or may not be. Have goals, set high priorities, but ultimately maintain the life and the heart and the trust of a child. That's the very best way to begin a new year. So if you've been listening to me for any time at all, you know that one of my favorite communication phrases is this one. So let's come in for a landing. How are we going to land this plane? Instead today, I want to share with you this colloquialism. Think about it this. How are we going to take off on this plane? How are we going to take off in this new year? Let's take off as children with the attitude of a child, with the trust of a child, with the understanding of a child, so that Jesus Christ might be Lord of our hearts and the people that we meet and the things that we do, filled with purpose and passion and a great new year.